Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome on back. Continuing along our afternoon meeting here this Tuesday. It feels like a Monday. Tuesday, May 26th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, guys. Let's get a quick sound check just to begin. Make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. There we go. There's the usual suspects, as I always like to say, of course, in a complimentary way, of course, for all of our regulars here in our trading room. And of course, streaming across social media as well, Facebook and YouTube. Welcome on aboard, guys. Hey, not a bad day to begin. And of course, here we are heading into the end of the afternoon with the Dow just still pushing up. So it's been a very fun day, but a very, very beneficial day for us all, right? Whether you're just a day trader, whether you're just investing, holding money in an IRA. Obviously, with the gap up, we would expect a bit of a pullback at 9:30, and we did a bit, but man, markets held strong, and from that point, held above 25 and has squeezed up since. So, I hope to see a really nice run going into the close. I'm not banking on it. We've done very well across the board, given a post-holiday trading day like Memorial Day. Very quickly, just really, and just as a reminder, I should have done this just to begin. I did this in our weekly workshop traders talk, which we just completed just a bit earlier today. For anyone streaming across social media, Facebook and YouTube, of course, Fausto had brought this up back on Friday. This morning, I brought it up back Friday, going into Memorial Day weekend, but I can't say it enough. I just would like to thank all of our veterans, any members of the armed forces, just for serving our country. Of course, just given this Memorial Day weekend. So, what's trading going into the market close? We'll turn to that in a moment. I'd like to just go through a couple of stocks that have done really well for us, at least across the day. Airlines and cruise lines are kind of the theme, just with the market pushing up heading into the early afternoon. So we'll take a look at a few like UAL, United Airlines, Save. Let me get my pre-market charting back up in front of me here. There we go. So big gap up. This one popped at the open and then held strong throughout the mid to late morning, and now, of course, squeezing up going into the afternoon. Spirit Airlines, SAVE. This one's done really well off of earnings back a few weeks ago. This one had a bit of a pullback, some shakiness early on, ended up making the pop, then drop, but ever since, of course, ended up moving up pretty much with everything else. A little bit slower, this one, American Airlines. I wasn't as high on this one going into the afternoon, no pun intended. This one just has so much volume on the order book for it to cut through. We've talked about this in this very meeting just in the past. Last week, I believe it was, just the fact that some stocks, we've traded across the last 2-3 months, of course, beginning from mid to late February when everything else was kind of crashing down. Airlines were, of course, one of the hot sectors, and they still are, but, it doesn't mean we're going to trade every single one every single day. There are some that provide more opportunity than others. And while AAL has ran up with everything else, I just feel like Save could be a little bit more volatile, give us more opportunity perhaps going into the afternoon, given this has a tighter spread, or not tighter. This has the same spread, so to say, less volume on the order book for this to cut through compared to like an American Airlines AAL. Looking at the size of the orders, the number of total orders at each price level. So, we'll come back to the airlines. We'll also go back to the cruise lines, just I'm sure at the very end. And CLH, this was more of our focus going into the mid-morning here, especially after the breakout shortly after 9:30, broke out from 1550 resistance. And from that point, ran up pretty nicely. And CLH, more expensive, but RCL, this one's, pushing up pretty nicely going into the afternoon. I wouldn't mind just putting RCL, UAL just on our list to begin. I would like to just go from top to bottom, though, otherwise. And of course, we still have a couple of others that we would like to comment on here at first. William just brought up LK, and then he said, just sorry, no. But you know what, though? Let's go to LK, though. William didn't call it out. I'm going to just go over this stock from this morning at least. LK was one of the bigger movers, at least, upon the market open. We traded this just when it was resumed from suspension last week, when it first opened up, and did really well on it. We stayed away from it, though, back on Thursday and Friday of last week, and here we are today, at least in pre-market. A lot more activity, a lot more volume, showing resistance off of that 180 price level. A little shaky in pre-market, but leading into the open, we ended up seeing a bigger order on the ask. So took a little time, but this ended up making a nice breakout from the 180 level. I missed it from 180. I got it from 2. And a bunch of us here in our trading room got it from the 2 level also. But, here's the thing, guys, really quick, just on a trade like this. And especially just given post Memorial Day, you're not expecting a whole lot to happen. I know the markets gapped up overnight. I mean, they ran up well across the day, but at least coming off a holiday, I'm just in and out quick. If I see profit, I'm going to take it. So this was a very tradable stock, even off of two. We did really well off the trade, but it wasn't as if we were holding on for a 35-cent profit to go from 2 to roughly 239 high. No, we were going in and out for 5 to 10 cents a pop, but picking them up along the way. So those add up. I kind of said lunch money turns into dinner money at some point, right? So, for what it's worth, we ended up doing very well on this trade. The volume crapped out rather quick. Unfortunately, this one ended up making a lower high. And, for the afternoon, we're not going to focus on this, I feel like. But, just wanted to bring this up quickly. All right. What else did I write down here? Here's one that didn't do so well. I want to comment on it quickly. I feel like we would come to it at some point, but actually, no, we wouldn't have. It's not on the gainer side really at all. It's only up 2.74%. The SR&E trade, talk about a total dud really quick. I mean, it's not just about the stocks we did well on, guys. It's the stocks that, we called out. It's not to say we lost money on this trade. It's just simply the fact that once the market opened, there was very little opportunity for a long trade. Really, I mean, I'll zoom in on the chart here quickly, but this was a fantastic pop in the pre-market for every reason in the world. We put this on our morning watch list, but at 9:30, it broke down. It never ended up breaking through a clear resistance level. It pulled back down further. Now, that's where the losses started to come into play here, because it seemed like it was beginning to build some support around the 550 level. So I ended up jumping in and out. I took a 6-cent loss on this trade from the 550 level, and it pulled back quick. So, that one sucked. But nonetheless, I mean, aside from that, I stayed away from this trade afterwards. Maybe some little short pop, but otherwise, there were other stocks to focus on at that time. Just wanted to bring this up quickly. Again, it's not as if every stock that we put on the morning watch list ends up doing really well. And at the same time, there are some, not on the main list that we end up focusing on a bit. This one, unfortunately, we focused on very quickly at the market open, but ended up tanking quick and really provided minimal opportunity to try and jump in. All right, so Ben's calling out X, one of my favorites, which I did comment on earlier today, guys. In fact, we were talking about that in Traders Talk, saying, hey, this morning I wasn't focused on a stock like X. I mean, just level one, it's slow. I don't mind slow, but if there's opportunity in primetime trading, I'll focus on that at first. Well, I'll tell you, X is moving up pretty nicely right now. I love seeing a stock like this at the highs going into the close. It's a stock that not just myself, but a lot of our longtime students are familiar with, this X trade. And maybe there's some bias towards it because it's one of my favorites, but I like this call. I'm going to put this right away on our main list. Nice level one trade, resistance off of 8. All right, cool. So we wouldn't find X on the percent gainer side here. I mean, it's up 9%, but I'm sure probably buried underneath a few more. Yeah. All right, so let's go from top to bottom, guys. And again, that goes across the board here, just for the trading room and across social media. If there's anything that you guys see, call it out right away, and I'll turn over to it pretty quickly. MTC, another dud from this morning, rather quick. Just want to go over this. This one was trading a hell of a lot of volume early on in pre-market, guys. So for what it's worth, leading into the market open, we had this on our watch list, but much like that last trade, the SR&E, it ended up dumping off right at 9:30. Never broke above resistance, for that matter, off of 3, and then just dumped off further. So, looks like some volume's coming in right now, but just not worth the opportunity, at least from my eyes. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Thursday, Friday. I wouldn't be surprised at all, but we'll pass. Mind, M-I-N-D. I don't know what the company is here. Mitchum Industries. I don't know. Near the highs going into the afternoon. You have an iceberg order currently on the ask, right at 190. I'll keep this on the side. I don't mind coming back to this if we see more activity on this trade heading into the end of this meeting, but I want to see if there's others out there that look better. LK, again, 220 major resistance. We called that out recently going into the afternoon. And for as much as it's dropped off over the last, month and a half, 2 months, and recently resumed trading, perhaps we'll see this squeeze up again, if not this afternoon, then some point. So good side list stock to have this, this LK stock in. But for right now, I'm not going to put this on our main list, just kind of flat. All right. We commented on GNC on Friday, and I didn't focus on this morning. I just remember seeing a pop. My scanner pinged me on GNC, and I reminded myself of that just after GNC was beginning to run up here off of 70 cents. So once again today, I got alerted from Benzinga Pro about GNC new highs, and for what it's worth on this trade, we did pretty well, at least with the trend and the continued move after. For as much as this stock dropped, is it possible to see this, squeeze higher into the close? Certainly. I'll keep this just on the side alongside that MIND trade. I don't really like focusing on the cheapies as much like this going into the end of the day. HMHC, tongue twister stock, HMHC, tight spread. Now, it's funny. I was looking at this white number right here, 15,116. I was going to say that's a lot of volume the stock is trading this point in the afternoon. But then I look over at the volume that just got filled here. And I tell you, 250 plus thousand shares filled between 4 transactions at like 205, 206. So, that appeals to me, but a large amount of the total volume traded today is just off of those 4 transactions at the high. So is it as likely just to break out and pop into the close? I like the fact it's near the highs, but aside from that big volume spike, it's been rather lackluster. So again, another stock I'll kind of brush off here for right now. All right. I want to get to a couple, though, that we are pretty familiar with. As always, I like to kind of cherry pick after the top 5 or so. Oh, I don't even know why I went over this ARGX trade. $215 symbol and a bit of a spread there. I don't know why I just clicked that. Sorry. I was going to get to this. Mark. So, guys, I called this out in the trading room just earlier, right before we started this meeting. I'm going to repost it here in the trading room and just across the chat board on social media. Just keep in mind, Mark, MARK, we've been watching this stock from today. We've been watching the stock from last week. And, for what it's worth, it didn't really do too much this morning. But, going into the afternoon, we ended up making a call out here. MARK, we had a huge 341,000 share order on the ask sitting at 3. And here we are. It's testing the level. You could see a large amount of the volume already got filled. 209,000 shares left, but big spike up just a moment ago. You look on the prints on the tape here. Let's see. Yeah, you had some at 299, some yellow here, which we like to see at 3, and some green also. So you have some interest at 3. So it's a good sign here to begin. So Mark, definitely going to put on our list right at the top. I like this one. All right. Party City, we saw squeeze up so far this afternoon. A cheapie like GNC. This one's dropped off a lot more, though, over the last 6 to 12 months, I feel like. Let's do a side-by-side. Oh, yeah. It's not even a question. Across the last 12 months, Party City's dropped off a lot further in terms of price. So if I were to, pick one over the other, I think it's this Party City, just given the opportunity. It's already held support off of 80, and it's squeezing back up here for right now. Huge spike of volume just a moment ago, right at 1:46 Eastern time. And fortunately, we can go back on the tape. Let's see. Bunch of prints filled at 82. At 80 here, 38K. I see 82 cents, 26K, 17K. Let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, that's all I have. It seems like maybe at 80 cents where it held support. So if it ends up breaking below that 80, you got to be careful. But it's already done a good job holding and has since moved up. So hopefully this is in a better position now to make a stronger continued move going into the end of the day. All right, cool. So that one we'll put on our list, Party City. ALT's been a monster across last week, and so far today ran up very nicely. I took my eyes off on this for a little bit. I was surprised to see it squeezing all the way up towards 10 at the time. Pulled back sharply, though, and I think for right now we're done. All right. What else do we have here, guys? Macy's creeping its way up on the gainers side. Wow. I didn't even focus on Macy's at all today here. Popped out of the gate at the open from 550. Nice level 1 stock. It's been really on a perfect run. I did see Nordstrom Rack come up on my scanners here, JWN. Not nearly as strong as Macy's, though, it seems like. Kohl's, KSS. Yeah. Macy's, nice steady trend. I don't mind putting this on our list kind of for similar reasons as the U.S. steel trade. Both slow, so I don't think we're going to get like 50 cents a share on either. But, level one, steady trends, tight spreads. All right. So let's see, maybe home. We'll take a look at HOMA. Near the highs. Familiar name. That's why I wanted to check this one out. This one will make the side list. I'll come back to this one just again. We have a few stocks we'll check back in on, I guess. But let's see. I got a comment here from YouTube saying, ALT, do you think it has a late push? I just saw that right now. So I just answered before. I don't think so. It's just very flat. Just given the volume dump off there, I mean, given the range, this stock can make like a 50-cent move. I feel like very quickly and effortlessly, but I'm not a fan of the lack of trend here for right now. So in terms of indecisiveness, I'd rather just focus on something that has a more decisive trend to it, up or down. All right. Holy smokes. Hertz is down 74%. Jeez. Okay, so it reopened up. I saw the comment here from the chat board from Ben. So Hertz was opened to let it drop from 180 down to 49 cents, right? So obviously news came out over the weekend. I think that they're going to officially be suspended from trading. Ben in our chat board says Carl Icahn's bet on Hertz goes bust as rental car company files for bankruptcy. Yeah, so I noticed that, Ben, last week really quickly. And again, when there's the time to look up news, it's worthwhile. It's good to know certain things. I was on Benzinga Pro last week. It was. I ended up seeing, and I don't even know if it's going to be on here. No, it's backdated a few days, but I ended up seeing what, like 413F on Carl Icahn. I think it was in relation to Hertz that he increased his share size. So that goes in line with obviously what you just posted. So they just resumed trading a moment ago, but then ended up getting halted off of a circuit breaker. So it just moved up too much as shorts covered. Well, if you were watching Hertz at the time and ended up jumping in, you're doing pretty damn good. It still has a big gap to fill, I feel like, or to try and fill a portion of. So I'm going to put this on our list. Just be careful, guys, of a volume dump off. And not only that, but given how far this stock has just dumped off today and how far it's already been halted and the way it's gapped up, this could be the type of stock that gets halted like 18 times from now until the market close. We've seen it happen. Not often, but this is the type of stock potentially for that to happen on. Here comes another one. Here we go. 104. Look at the HFTs coming in on the tape. Here's a free lesson for phase 2 students. And halted. All right. Well, that's number 3 of the predicted 18 that I just listed. So we'll see what happens on this Hertz trade, guys. I hope just make sure that you have everything lined up, just for right now. If you're stuck in the halt, it seems like, it may continue pushing up for a bit, but the more it gets halted on the way up, it's going to get halted on the way down. And when a company gets halted on the way down, it's not going to be too easy to get out of. All right, so let's hop over just to a couple more on the loser side, guys. Market's up big. I'm not going to find that much that's worth the time on the losers list. Also, I got pinged for a stock that broke a new high. Just actually, oh damn, it's about like 15 minutes late. It was like from 2:30, right when I started the meeting. All right, we'll go to that one, I guess, just at the end. But let's go through a couple others on the loser side. Not hard to borrow. ATRA. Steady trend, tight spreads for right now, and not really that expensive. I don't think I've traded this stock really that frequently, but fine by me. I mean, at the lows of the day going into the close, it's shortable. And wow, this stock took a huge hit from Friday, a total pump and dump where it ended up running up towards 19 and above and pulled right back down. It closed lower than it even opened. And we typically say that's not a good sign. So, this thing got beat up again today, and it looks like it's going to continue dropping for right now. Some prints did come in on the tape just recently here, it seems like, but for right now, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing support off of 12. All right, cool. So that's a good one, at least, to put on our list. mRNA, shortable also, just pretty flat. So, I always tend to say this for the, level 5 stocks. You know who you are if you're trading the stock and if you've been trading the stock for that matter. So, I'm not going to put this on our list simply just given the lack of trend, but given the price and given how far it's dropped, kind of similar to the ALT position, it's just very effortless to see this stock move like 50 cents at any given point, a dollar, much more than that perhaps. All right, former runner from last week, Gurn, and on a couple of instances here, shortable. It's near the lows of the day, just very flat. So I'm going to pass on this. All right, cool. Let's hop over to a couple of others, guys. I think that's it from the losers side. So if there's anything else that you would want me to check out, let me know. Tilray, I got pinged on this right at 2:30. I guess I didn't see this just up until now. So Tilray, you guys know my thoughts on this stock. I love it. I love just following the pot stocks entirely. Back from mid to late 2018, they all took off. Tilray was the leader of them at the time, and it was a historical run. And if you were in the trading room at the time and that we were trading this, you know that. For any of our new students and new members or newer members joining us for that matter, we've been following this, right? So what, like day over day over day, we've been doing really well on this stock. So it only seems like we're going to have continuation going into the close. So TLRY, no brainer to put on our list. Now, at least for right now, though, guys, let's just double check on a resistance here. I'm going to pull up my book map right now. I have it running live, and yeah, 1150 big volume just got filled. 1160 also. 1160 is also a big order on the ask. 1162 for that matter. How about that? 1162, 26,000 share order on the ask. That's what I see from my book map right now. All right. What else we got here, guys? So Tilray on our list. Let's just check in on the pot stocks entirely. CGC. Notice this one's not really doing as much. Maybe the calm before the storm, but for right now, I'd rather focus on Tilray. ACB even. Reverse splits earnings from last week. It's on the way up to 16. That could be a good setup. Don't get me wrong, ACB at 16 here could be a pretty solid setup, especially it already broke over the level once. It pulled back, and here it is for a second crack. So if I do put another one on, it's going to be this ACB out of the pot stocks. There are others like, Cheapy HEXO, which really is flat right now. Kronos, level 1 stock moving up pretty nicely. So that one looks pretty interesting. So if you find Tilray to be a little volatile, ACB certainly, it's more of like a level 3 to 4 stock. Then try and focus on a couple of the others here. What else do we have here, guys? From Dennis saying TUP, Tupperware. I called that one out before too, where I was looking at it earlier. Yeah, new high. I like this one. We were following this maybe a couple months back, breaking all-time lows. Yeah, and very similar to Party City. It's just taken a beating over the last 12 months plus. So seeing this at the highs of the day going into the close like this definitely appeals to me. All right, LVS with 50. Yep, tradable stock. I mean, it's a nice level to look at, near the highs still. So casino stock, much like MGM. Check in on MGM quick. MGM has been a little slow, but has been breaking higher at least going into the afternoon. So, out of the casino stocks, I would definitely be interested in MGM. Penn already, I feel like the move was factored in over the last week and a half. Hertz, I think, is reopened right now. So I actually don't mind putting MGM on our main list, given all things considered. Just checking in on the rest of them, though, like UAL kind of dumping back down for the meantime. NCLH, Norwegian Cruise Lines, SAVE, SAVE. All right. I'm going to put MGM on our list out of the side list stocks, that is. MGM, SAVE. I'll put those two on our main list, at least for right now. Both are shortable. Not hard to borrow, at least for those with trade stations. So keep a good eye on those. Now we have Lewis saying Bank of America, BAC playing the high of the day. It is. So if we end up seeing a nice squeeze up within the markets going into the close, then, if this is a stock that you tend to focus on, then give it a second look, definitely. All right, guys, Mark just popped. So, you know what? Like I said, Mark is our focus right now going into the afternoon. Just rebroke above 3, running up pretty nicely for right now. So this is going to be on the top of our watch list. We have plenty of others as well. I want to take a quick look just at the side list stocks before we finish up, like the ones I put on the back burner, like Home, not really doing much of anything. Mind, same thing, kind of pulling back. That was, making a double top near the highs there. GNC dumped back down, so that doesn't look too appealing now at this point. And HMHC, tongue twister stock. Yeah, just flat. All right, so we're striking out on all of those. That's fine. Pinterest, new high of the day. I'm not going to put this on our main list just yet, but this would be the one otherwise that I would put on our list. All right, so I think for right now, we're going to stick with what we have here to begin. In total, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 stocks, guys. So no shortage of opportunity going into the end of this Tuesday. Aside from that, I will post and tweet the picks. And again, for anyone streaming across social media, Facebook, YouTube, guys, you guys know the deal now at this point. And for any of our new streamers joining us, I should say. If you'd like to learn more about what we offer here at Cyber Trading University, the online trading room here, and for all of our students, keep in mind, much like I announced last week, we're continuing our live classes tomorrow even, beginning the Phase 2 stock course curriculum, lesson number 1. So I certainly look forward to teaching that class, and I know that most of us here in the live trading room will be attending that. But for anyone on social media that would like to learn more about the trading room or our online classroom, make sure that you guys call the phone number down below on the banner, and one of our education advisors will look to pick up and provide more detail. All right, guys, aside from that, let's try and finish up the afternoon just as well as we had started the morning, and let's make some money going into the end of the day. Take care.